So now that the NHL news is starting to slow down, the heat is starting to go under Kyle Dubas's seat right now as the situation with Mitch Marner and the Maple Leafs has not been resolved at this point. We are now toward the end of July and there is still nothing agreed upon. How long could this go? Mitch Marner has talked about not attending training camp if a deal is not done. Let's talk about that. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. Let's take a look at Mitch Marner not possibly attending training camp for the Leafs. All right, so at this point, Mitch Marner is not signed by the Maple Leafs, and you have to start to wonder what is going on. What are the Leafs doing here? And I wonder if it's really Marner or if it's Kyle Dubas. And I think the problem we're seeing right now is the Leafs are the easy target here, but there are other teams that have issues. We look at Patrick Laine being a guy that has to be signed. But the problem is, it seems like the Leafs are getting such a big number from Mitch Marner. All these other players are kind of waiting to see what happens with Marner and kind of following suit from there. This is a really weird situation. And you have to wonder, obviously this is not good news for the Maple Leafs. Let's just start off with that. Mitch Marner possibly not going to training camp. This is the exact same thing that happened last year with the Maple Leafs, with the whole situation around William Nylander. Now, just to give you a little bit of a reminder what happened, obviously the Leafs were having issues with Nylander last year. Obviously not to the level and the hype around Mitch Marner. He is not that type of player. He is a great player. In fact, William Nylander, but not to the level of Mitch Marner, especially with his play over this past season. Doesn't seem like an offer sheet is likely at this point. I'm praying to God that the Islanders don't take an offer sheet, and maybe I have to make a video about that, why the Islanders should stay clear of that situation. There's been enough damage with John Tavares. I really don't need to see any more with the Marner signing itself and what could lead on after that in terms of, having problems with getting head coaches and the Leafs kind of stealing guys from under the Islanders just because, the Islanders are in on someone. So the Islanders have to be careful with a team like Toronto. They've already, they've battled their demons last year with John Tavares, and they're going to have to battle that demon for pretty much the next decade. So it would be smart for the Islanders to avoid that situation. But anyway, back to the Leafs. Mitch Marner, I feel like Kyle Dubas has to have his internal deadline. He has to have an internal deadline before training camp to say, listen, Marner, this is our number. That's it. If you're not coming back, we're going to talk about trying to trade you. Now, the problem with trying to trade Mitch Marner is how do you get a deal done for trading Mitch Marner? Well, teams know they could offer sheet him, but maybe Toronto would be willing to give up less. I don't know what happens because this is really a bad look for Kyle Dubas. He had the issue with Marner last year, and coming into training camp last year with Nylander, he was asking for the same number that he was asking in November when he signed that contract with the Leafs. So he went another 3 months of not starting the season for the same exact contract. So Dubas kind of messed up there. And I think Darren Ferris, the agent for Mitch Marner, is thinking, hey, we'll just wait this out and we'll wait till Kyle Dubas gives us what we want. That's probably not a good thing for the rest of the NHL because a lot of other players, Charlie McAvoy is a pending, he's a restricted free agent. Brock Besser. You look around the league. There's plenty of guys. Mikko Rantanen still hasn't signed in Colorado, so there's things to look at here. You have to wonder what the market's going to be when Marner signs his deal. Marner has to be the first guy to go, whether the Leafs like it or not. He's going to have to be the first contract to get signed for everybody else to sign. With that said, this is Dubas. Like I said, he has to have an internal deadline. He cannot let this go into the season yet again. He cannot. He can't afford it for his job security and for the team. He just cannot afford this. And I'm not sure exactly what the reasoning for all this was exactly. This is a very weird situation, in my opinion. I don't really understand what the holdup is. Obviously, I know contract discussions are tough. I think things are getting personal between Dubas and Marner and the Marner camp, so there's an issue there. I don't know. I don't know how you fix this, but it's really a problem. And this is where I hate to say it, I wish offer sheets were easier to acquire because I feel like it would be better at the end of the day, it would be better for Marner or Kyle Dubas. And either one of those, if one of those is happy, then we're okay. I feel like one of them has to be happy by the start of training camp because now this is taking too long and it's detrimental. And then now if we're not going to start the season with one of the better young players in the NHL, how is that good for the game of hockey? So, that's just my opinion. I'm an Islander fan, so whatever. I really don't have that much hate toward the Maple Leafs until Tavares scores the Stanley Cup winning goal. I'm really not going to care all that much about what happens with the Leafs, quite honestly. I do like Mitch Marner as a player. I love him as a guy on my team, but he's asking for way too much money. He's asking for Austin Matthews money, which is around $12 million. That's ridiculous. That's way too much money for Mitch Marner. God bless his soul, but that is too much money for a guy like Marner. So let me know what you guys think. Obviously, I know there's a couple Leaf fans that really believe he won't sign an offer sheet. I'm kind of on the same side of the fence as well. At this point, there hasn't been an offer sheet, and I think there's too many implications. I feel like I'd be cheering against my team not signing an offer sheet for Mitch Marner. It's just not worth it. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. Check out our Instagram at Goal Line Hockey as well for all the latest NHL news. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.